It had been a day of puddles and rain, and Katie found out that if you open the front door and take a deep breath, even the air has water in it. Orbie discovered that a whole lot of worms like to come out and dance in the rain. And they both learned that after it rains, the grass in the garden turns greener and greener. It had rained all day, and Katie and Orbie had already puddle jumped, carried a whole bunch of worms back to the garden, made a river where the water raced for the drain. They had soup for lunch and played with colored dough. And by this time, it was starting to feel a lot like playing outside in the sun. As they looked out the window, Katie sighed. It didn't look like there was much hope for the rest of the day. As she turned away from the window, trying to decide what to do next, Orbie noticed something in the sky. At first, it was just a tiny sliver between the clouds, and then it began to broaden ever so slowly. Orbie tooted a toot of joy because the clouds were separating and letting the good old sun come through. In a flash, Katie and Orbie were tugging on Mom to get ready. It was soon going to be sunny enough to go to the park. It wasn't more than 15 minutes before Mom was sitting on the wet bench, protected by her raincoat, and Katie and Orbie were climbing and swinging and turning on all of the dripping playground equipment. Katie and Orbie were spinning on the swings and giggling as they went around when a familiar voice called to them from the path. It was Bryn and Phoebe. They had their coats and puddle boots on and were hurrying to the park to play. Bryn kept floating around in Orbie's eyes when his swing finally stopped. He was really dizzy. They decided to play a game of follow the leader. Bryn was the first leader, and she led them all through the playground, except through the wet sand. And each one of them had to slide down the fireman's pole like Bryn. Orbie helped Phoebe, and as Bryn reached up for Phoebe, Orbie reached down, and he noticed a beautiful new bracelet on Bryn's wrist. When they took a rest before the next leader's turn, Orbie asked if he could see Bryn's bracelet. Bryn didn't like it much, but she showed it to him. Orbie thought it was absolutely the very best bracelet he had ever seen. On the front of it, there was a snake climbing up something, and when Orbie asked if he could try it, Bryn said that she wasn't allowed to take it off. Well, to tell you the truth, Orbie was a bit annoyed with Bryn for not sharing, even for a moment. As the others played follow the leader behind Katie, Orbie went and sat on the bench with Mom. He told Mom about Bryn's new bracelet and that he didn't think it was very nice of her to not even let him try it on just once. And Mom wondered why Bryn wouldn't give Orbie a turn. But Orbie didn't really know the answer. Orbie just sat there on the bench beside Mom. Soon, Katie led them all over to Mom because she happened to know that in one of Mom's pockets, there were some really good eggless cookies just waiting to be eaten. As Mom gave out the cookies, Bryn stopped and asked if they were made with eggs inside. Katie's mom assured her that they weren't. She knew that Bryn was coming with them and made them special with her in mind. With that, Mom asked Bryn if she could see her new bracelet. Again, Bryn didn't really feel like showing her bracelet, but she did. When Mom saw it, she thought Bryn was terribly clever to wear a bracelet like that, and told Orbie that she knew exactly why Orbie couldn't try it on. Orbie turned to her and felt a little sheepish as he looked at Bryn. What was the good reason, he burbled. Mom explained that Bryn's bracelet was on her wrist to keep her safe. If by any chance Bryn ate eggs, and they made her so sick that she couldn't even talk, then the bracelet did the talking for her. Orbie looked at the bracelet again. It looked really cool with snakes and all, but he couldn't see any talking buttons or anything. And Mom laughed and told him she meant that seeing the bracelet on Bryn would tell people that didn't know her that she was allergic to eggs. Orbie was still confused. How did it do that? Mom turned Bryn's bracelet over. On the inside, there were some words. The words said, egg allergies. Orbie rubbed his pink head. That was a very important bracelet for Bryn to have. And even though Orbie wanted one, he knew that he didn't have any allergies. Then Orbie had another thought. How would anybody in the whole world know to look on the back of the bracelet? Mom pointed to the snake and the sword. She told Orbie that it was a symbol of medicine. And if a bracelet has that symbol on it, that means the bracelet is doing a job. The job is protecting the person wearing the bracelet. It's called a medical alert bracelet. Bryn looked at Orbie and told him she didn't even want to wear the bracelet because it told everybody that something was wrong with her. But her mom said it might save her life, and she just had to. Orbie touched Bryn's arm and told her that he thought that the bracelet was telling everybody something was right with Bryn. Bryn didn't know what he meant. He told her if it's keeping you safe so that you can be our friend forever and ever, then it's doing something right. Orbie gave her a great big hug. So did Katie, because being Bryn's friend forever meant a whole lot to both of them. Bryn looked at her shiny bracelet and smiled. She'd been so busy not wanting to wear it, and now she realized that it was telling everybody a good thing, not a bad thing. She felt so much happier. And with that, she swung around and told Phoebe it was her turn to be leader, and all four friends went off like a snake through the whole playground. And from that day on, whenever Katie and Orbie saw someone with a medical alert bracelet, it made them very happy, because they knew that person was keeping themselves safe too. And if you need to wear a medical alert bracelet, or know someone else who does, I want you to know that you are making me happy at this very moment.